What's up? What's up? It's your man, Jimmy Chan. So we have an equation here that we want to get the n all by itself, meaning I need to focus on just getting that by itself. Okay? In fact, I have two of them. Somehow I gotta get them together and get on one side all by itself. Now, of course, for you guys, you're looking at it going, I can't picture this, so therefore I don't know how to do this. All right, so you have now looked at something that I started saying and you totally ignored it and went directly to, what's the answer? So the first thing I said was what? We have a rational equation. Okay, so a rational equation, number one thing that you guys don't like is the fraction part. So with the equation, we can actually get rid of this fraction, right? So why don't we focus on that part first, okay? Let's not worry about what it's asking me right now. Let's only worry about, okay, how do I get rid of this fraction? So first of all, there's a binomial on the bottom, so I want to go ahead and put in parentheses. Number two, in order for me to get rid of the fraction in an equation, I have to get every single term to have the same exact denominator, right? So I'm going to write this I as a fraction by putting it over 1. So what is the 1 missing? Well, the 1 is missing this nr plus r. So I got to do that to top and bottom, right? And if you look now, you can see that this bottom is nr plus r, and this bottom is also nr plus r, right? Great. So now I have the same denominator. So what I'm going to now do is that this, I can get rid of the denominator, right? So I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, great, I got rid of the denominator. What do I have? I have this I times nr times r is equal to an e. Okay. Now I want to try to keep the n highlighted because I need to focus on getting those by itself. So again, same thing. I have that, and then you go, okay, what do I do? Well, same. I'm going to ask you this: if I had just that right there, what would you do? You'd be like, well, I would just distribute. You're like, okay, great. Let's distribute that. So when I would distribute that, wow, this is really nice with letters, because if I was to distribute that, would I not just have this? The I gets distributed, so I got INR. And if I distribute to the R, I'll get IR. Well, that's going to equal to an E, right? So now that's distributed. Great. Well, now if you look at it, you might now have a sense on going, what would I do? Well, wouldn't it be logical for you to get everything to the same side? Because the ends are now on separate sides. Why not get it all to the same side? And whoever doesn't have an N, you got to go. Okay? So would that be the INR, right? And since I have to bring this over to the other side, I would have to subtract it, right? So it would be a negative NE. And since this term here doesn't have an N in it, I'm going to move it over to the other side. And by moving it, I have to subtract it. So it's negative IR. Okay? Ooh, look at this. Look at what's happening on this side now. I have a GCF of N, don't I? I have a GCF of N. So if I take out the N, what do I have left? I have IR minus E, equaling to negative IR. But let me put that back in here. Okay, the highlight. Now, if I want to get N by itself, I just got to divide that thing off. So you're telling me that this is going to equal to negative IR over IR R minus E. And of course, you're looking at the choice and you're like, I don't see this one. But here is the thing. This is the part you should see, right? I have this negative here. This negative can either go on the side here, which there's no choices for that. But if I put it on the bottom, I will have to distribute it through. So if you look at it that way, I can look at it, I can do it this, I can say this, right? I R over, and I'm moving that negative to the bottom. So I'm moving this negative, instead of leaving here, I'm going to bring it down to the bottom, so I have a negative 1 times IR minus E, which is going to give me IR over E minus IR. And you're like, ooh, that looks familiar. That looks like choice A. And there we go. And there we go. I hope that helps. If there's any questions, let me know.